Architecture in prehistoric Korea was very different. First, you have the Neolithic period, also known as Joseon Pottery period. Here we have the early pit-house architecture. It's mainly used as hubs, space for working and sleeping, and also storage pits. It was during this period that the cultivation of rice was introduced to Korea. In the Joseon period, buildings were mostly pit dwellings with walls of wattle and dog and thatched roofs. This was the period where raised floor architecture first emerged. Joseon period was followed by the Proto-Three Kingdoms period. There were many changes, except that these dwellings moved nearer to the river. Pits became more rectangular and larger. Goguryeo is the largest kingdom, renowned for its mountain fortresses built horizontally and vertically along the incline of slopes. Constant warfare by big and politically advanced kingdoms with large armies meant having to build fortresses. Even Chinese artillery had difficulty breaking through them. Walls were surrounded by a ditch to prevent an underground attack and equipped with guard towers. If rivers and mountains were absent, extra defense lines were added. This is the Achasanseong Fortress, an urban mountain fortress found in Baekje. Baekje was heavily influenced by the Goguryeo architecture, though the latter was more refined, with more stone elements incorporated to survive the ravages of time. The emergence of Ondo began during the time of Goguryeo, which started off with heating parts of a room. The system of heating up the entire room came about during the mid-13th century of the Goryeo dynasty. Koreans believed that keeping one's hands and feet warm while keeping their head cool is beneficial for health. It not only heats the floor, but can also be used in cooking. The fire from the fireplace releases smoke, which radiates heat to the stones beneath the flooring and thus heating it up. During the Silla dynasty, one significant architecture was the Seokbingo, an ice storage made of stone. This is the exterior, and this is the interior. In the late 5th century, octagonal wooden pagodas with a multi-story structure started to develop. The layout of earliest Buddhist temples were like this. Facing the central pagoda from the north, east, and west were Buddha chapels. The earliest stone pagoda was found in Ilsan, showing transitional features from a wooden pagoda to a stone pagoda. This is how a 5-story pagoda looks like. Gojongsa was found by a Silla monk. The octagonal 9-story stone pagoda is the only pagoda in South Korea that exhibits characteristics of the Goguryeo kingdom. It stands at 50 feet high. A flat stone base has been laid over the original base, carved with lotus flowers and other images. Pillars were delicately carved into each corner of the upper face of the stone. The shape of the first tier and the door frame images represented the aristocracy of the Buddhist culture in the Goryeo era. Being made of stone gave this pagoda a feeling of stability. This is another major temple during the Silla period, the Bunhongsa temple. Sadly, constant invasions transformed this initially 7 to 9-story structure into a 3-story structure. The Gyeongbokgung Palace is the main and largest royal palace of the Joseon dynasty, serving as the home of kings, the king's households, as well as the government of Joseon. It was destroyed in a fire but rebuilt in 1867, and now known as one of the UNESCO heritage sites. This is the layout of the palace. Of course, we first start off with the main and the largest gate, also known as the South Gate. Did you know that this gate was also reserved for the spirits to enter and exit? Interesting, isn't it? The East Gate was largely accessed by the king and the crown prince, reason being that it's in the latter's compound. Whereas the West Gate was for the performance of the royal rituals and those who worked in the administrative buildings in the West. Moving on from the South Gate, you will reach the second inner gate, the Hyeongnimun Gate. Through the gate, you'll be greeted with the main throne hall of the palace, the Gyeongjungjun. Lining your path, you will find royal stone tablets on both sides. The placement of tablets is an indication of where the court officials will stand according to their ranks. This is a 9th rank. Mainly made of wood, the Gyeongjungjun lays in the middle of a large rectangular courtyard, atop of a 2-tiered stone platform, which is designed with numerous animal structures, such as dragons and phoenixes. This is the interior of the Gyeongjungjun. The Sajeongjun is used as the main executive office by the king in Joseon Dynasty, where he discusses national affairs regularly with his court officials. At the end of the day, the king returns to his sleeping quarters to rest. The Gyeongjun consists of corridors and rectangular chambers, equally and orderly spread out on both sides. The building sits on top of a tall stone foundation with a veranda located in front of it. This building is slightly different from some of the rest due to the absence of a top white roof. Did you know that since the king was recognized as the symbol of a dragon, the Yeongmaru, containing the letter of Yeong, cannot be above the king? The main building structure and arrangement of the rooms in the queen's quarters is similar to the king's quarters, except for the absence of the stone veranda in front. Similarly, there isn't a top white roof ridge. The quarters of the king's mother consist of 2 rooms with ondol floors and a veranda facing southwest. Remember the heating system mentioned earlier on? This is the Dongdong, where the crown prince and princess live. It included 2 main buildings and a security building, together with a lecture hall for the princess training for the throne. The Gyeonghoru Pavilion, also known as the Royal Banquet Hall, was situated on the pond west of the king's living quarters. This is where the king threw feasts for foreign envoys or his court officials during joyous occasions. Apparently, the cosmic principle of 6-6 was applied to the construction of this pavilion so as to suppress fire. 2 dragons handling water and fire were placed to the north of the pavilion, symbolizing spring water that overwhelms fire. Its surface appeared to be the structure of 3 embedded rectangles around a core, similar to a diagram in the Book of Changes. The Hwangwonjeong Pavilion was a 2-tiered hexagonal structure. It was the palace's back garden, and an artificial islet was created in the center of the pond. Interestingly, it was also known as a pavilion of far-reaching fragrance. Also, the bridge leading to it was the longest wooden bridge constructed on the pond during that period. The Jibokje was the king's private royal library. Its architectural style differs significantly from that of other palace buildings, clearly portraying the influence of Chinese architecture, which was regarded as modern during that period. The Gyeongchonggong residence was located in the northernmost part of the palace, as a place for the king and the queen to relax. It consisted of separate halls for both parties. This place emulated the architectural style of a typical scholar's residence, except for a few ornate decorations, and surrounding brick walls were designed with intricate flower patterns. Although it was a place for relaxation, the king often received foreign ministers here as well. Can you spot the common feature among all of them? Does this ring a bell? Similar to the raised floor architecture mentioned during the Mumun period, majority of the structures in royal palaces also followed the same architectural style.